how do you cope with women in your ministry in terms of temptations and
how do I
working
cope with them?
Yes.
Well,
That's another question.
That's a good question. Well, first of all, I don't know if I would like to use the word cope with ladies. I would rather say, how do I cope with myself? I don't like the fact when men put all the blame on the woman when it comes to temptation. I hear preachers and say ladies are supposed to dress and not wear some certain dresses or wears, and ladies should be careful not that the men will not be tempted. But why should we put the blame on the ladies? I think the men should be careful. It's the men's responsibility to take care of themselves. Some people say, these women are tempting the men. Oh, don't tempt the men. I have a problem with that. I think that as a man, it is my duty to watch after myself. As a man, I shouldn't put responsibility on me being tempted or not on how the lady dresses or she didn't dress. If a man is supposed to tell the truth, you will discover that how a lady looks in church is nothing compared to how ladies who are not church members look outside. And a man that is not tempted outside of the church doesn't even have that problem in the church. But if you are tempted in the church, then you have to sleep in that church and live in the church, because what will you then do when you come out of that church? Because out of the church, you have more vulgar dressing, more vulgar presentation. Like, for example, I was in a meeting today, church meeting, and I decided to put on my computer. As soon as I put it on, the thing that jumped at me was a picture of a naked woman. That was in the church, but in my computer. And so it doesn't matter how vulgar the ladies around me in the church have dressed physically, but what I'm seeing in my own computer is much more horrible than any lady could present in any building. So I think it's the responsibility of the man fighting temptation in his own life and, trying to hold himself and resist the temptation that is all around us. And, it's a fact. The latest statistics say that men in a year have at least 1 million sexual suggestions, temptations. Men have that because, whatever they see, they are tempted and they are appealed to by what they see. So it's what happens in the church. You are in the church maybe just 2 times or 3 times. So that's nothing compared to what you see on daily basis, thousands of them. So in the real sense, I would not say we should cope with the women in the church. I think we should rather be rejoicing that the women in the church are not as vulgar or revealing in their dressing and as people in the world. But no matter where people are, if you want to fight and against sin and walk in holiness and righteousness, it starts from your heart. It starts from what is happening within you, in your mind. And that's where holiness starts from. And as a man, if I say I don't have temptations with women, I don't feel attracted to women, I'll be deceiving you. I have it. And especially when you have a church as big as ours, we have so many beautiful girls. If you are if you have been to Ukraine or Russia, this part of the world, Eastern Europe, you see you have a lot of beautiful ladies. You have to appreciate it, but you also have to, hold yourself and try your best to, walk in the fear of God. And temptations will always come, and it's impossible for them not to come. But that's where we need the grace of God, to depend on God's grace to help us to keep on holding on to the end. But for those people who have, maybe fall into one temptation or the other, sexual sin or the other, just dust your body off and get up and just keep on pursuing God. Because the real or the horrible thing about sin is not the sin itself, but when the inability to resist or to keep on fighting that sin. So if you fall into a sin and you just keep on lying down, keep on living in that sin, that's where the problem is. But if you get up and ask for forgiveness and begin to push forward towards God, to a closer relationship to God, God is a righteous God, and He says that the righteous fall 7 times and they arise. So the fact is that you keep on arising and keep on pursuing after God. That's the world we are living in today. It's a world of real life temptations, and especially sexual temptations. You cannot avoid it anymore. It's everywhere, no matter who you are. But that's why you must keep your heart right and keep your heart pursuing after God.